Penis. That's all I've got. In this video, I look at the god Enki, his phallic symbolism. Yep, that means penises. Can I say penis on YouTube? I hope so. And the manner in which he is known as a creator deity in Mesopotamia. Like, subscribe, come along for the ride. Hello everybody, welcome back to Sex and Eroticism in Mesopotamian Literature. This is episode 6, Enki's Phallic Symbolism. This week we start looking at the material that focuses on the male perspective of sexual metaphor, which is mainly dealt with in long, complex narratives. Unsurprisingly, for anyone with a passing familiarity with Mesopotamian mythology, the male perspective tends to focus on the god Enki, and yes, Enki's penis. Our overview. We're going to look at Enki and Water, and then two mythological compositions, Enki and the World Order, and Enki and Ninmah. I should also say that Like points out that phallic symbolism is rather rare in Mesopotamia. Enki is the only mytho-literary character with this express characteristic, and even in the archaeological record, depictions of nude males or phallic symbols are relatively rare in comparison to nude female and female genitalia representations. So first, Enki and Water. As we know if you've seen the previous videos, Enki is the god of Eridu, southern city, which probably gave rise to the Eridu theology, which focuses on water and the marshes, and he is the son of the goddess Namu, who is seen to be the embodiment of these fertile waters. He inherits Namu's creative force, and obviously can't create using a womb because he doesn't have one, and is most often seen creating through the use of words. However, the creative force that we also see associated with water is also at play with Enki's semen. Semen is in Sumerian the same as the word for water, so there's a lot of interplay between these two things. In the text Enki and the World Order, Enki's claim to power is shown through patrilineal descent, that is, his relationship to other male deities, specifically An and Enlil, but he also has to show generative powers to function fully as a god. The myth shows him ordering the world, and he does this through several different means. He uses words as creative forces, and we have a quote here, "A word from you, and heaps and piles stack high with grain. In the land, be it fat, be it milk, the stalls and sheepfolds produce it." So here we see Enki creating agricultural abundance through his words. His physical presence is also enough to influence the fertility of both the land and the flocks. And we have another quote, "Father Enki, come close to the seeded land, let it bear healthy seed. Nudimud, come close to the pregnant ewe, let it give birth to a healthy lamb." So Enki's mere presence is enough to both inspire fertility in the land and in the animals. There are also some sexual overtones in this mythology. He creates through ejaculation, and if that is not a sexual overtone, I don't know what is. Another quote, "He stood up full of lust like an attacking bull, lifted his penis, ejaculated, filled the Tigris with flowing water." And again, we have that combination of water and semen, kind of a bit of wordplay there. And so the lusty bull reference is very sexual, and later on in the same text there's a reference made to bridal gifts, and the rivers here are presented, like argues, as a female partner to be inseminated. One of the quotes that she gives refers to Enki putting his penis, putting his semen within, kind of in the heart of the Tigris, and the word for within there can also be used to mean womb. So Enki not only creates the river through his ejaculation, but then the river itself is another source of fertility. As we've seen previously, Mesopotamia relied quite heavily on irrigation for the creation of crops. So not only does Enki create the river, he also provides the means by which the river can then fertilize the land. Our second myth today is Enki and Ninmah, and in this myth we see the creation of mankind and of also humanity's ability to reproduce itself, which was seen as a gift from the gods. Sexual metaphor here is in association with reproduction, and Enki oversees a selection of birth goddesses to create man. He is overseer by virtue of his control of the 🀭, that is the fertile water that exists under the ground. The goddesses use clay from the 🀭to create humanity under Enki's oversight. Interestingly here, the creation of humanity doesn't require sexual reproduction, as we saw in the cosmogony videos last week and earlier this week. The creation of gods, the creation of the world, often is seen as requiring a divine coupling. That's not necessary here for the creation of man. The rest of the myth is often seen as a competition between two drunk deities, Enki and the birth goddess Ninmah. Enki wins, big surprise because he is the protagonist of this myth, and what happens is that Ninmah creates beings with some kind of physical handicap. They're sterile, they're lame, or they're blind, and then Enki's challenge is to find a function for them. So he's kind of ordering the universe and creating purpose for things that otherwise may not have a purpose. Following this, Enki creates a being that Ninmah has to make a purpose for, and she is unable to fulfill her responsibility and give this being a purpose, so Enki wins. The myth provides an explanation as to why human reproduction can go wrong, and it also provides both the creation of humanity and humanity's ability to reproduce without divine intervention. We see here the importance of male semen in the creation of life. This is a quote from the text. "The semen which the male member is emitting, when discharged into a woman's womb, that woman gives birth to it from her womb." So here we see that while women may give birth, what they're giving birth to, the progenitor of life, is the male semen. So semen is therefore seen as a divine substance which is bestowed upon humanity by Enki. And so just as the gods copulate and give birth, as seen in the cosmogonies, so too does humanity, though again the sperm here is the important part, less so the womb. In summation, we see the continued importance of water, especially its associations with Enki, its associations with creation, and also its association with semen. Enki is able to create verbally and sexually, hence the importance of his penis, and he's also able to give a purpose to those humans who are different, and finally, provides humanity with sexual reproduction, giving humanity that kind of divine spark that allows them to recreate themselves without the divine intervention of a birth goddess or Enki and his penis. Next time we will continue looking at Enki and we will investigate Enki's lust. So thank you for joining me, and remember, until next time, resist poor scholarship. Always ask, how do you know that?